Hello, I'm here again. Absence. These are quotes from the use of absence. Lord, watch between me and thee when we are absent one from another. This comes from Genesis, the part of Genesis in the Bible. Well, it means that the Lord should watch on me when I am around others, and it should watch on me when I am with others. For I should know to trust myself, of course, but should I know to trust myself completely without the guidance he has, his meticulous and wandering guidance of formulaic miracle magical makings that he does to design his best plans, like in A Beautiful Mind, what he is trying to find out. Russell Crowe, or whatever the man was called, John Nash, that was right. Yes, I remember. I remember. John Nash was trying to find out the secret to understanding the formula of what exists between all numbers and patterns, and something like that. Maybe I could give more to the conversational discussion of criticizing this film by infusing certain elements of mathematical understanding in it. When I was understanding maths, I did get to understand a certain amount of easy algebra, and my biggest fault was always in algebra, to the degree where I could understand enough and yet not enough at all. So going off a tangent, I did already. Now I digress and come back to the conclusion. This is about everyone and how they love to be with each other. When they are absent from each other, God has a plan for which he mirrors part of himself to appear that we should feel we are alone, when in fact he plays the game of making part of his energy known to be considered by us lonely. Now I could actually say that is a very strange thing that I go on to think in such a way. What could loneliness be but an energy that was created by maybe the devil, or maybe a word that describes the beings that are in some way playing games with themselves to consider themselves lonely? What we could be actually doing is that when we cause ourselves to be overexcited, the downside or the coming down from such an effect would make us feel we were lonely. We actually create our own demise, we create our own problems, and it's good to think that maybe we could detach ourselves from the facts of truth, and truth is that everything that is anything to do with what we want to work out, we know it's a part of our nature to basically take ourselves back to the point where we may have been the ones who were the victims of our own crimes. So actually, it's just a question of sometimes waking up. That you don't always have to work out every problem. You could actually have seen that everything that was ever coming at you always came at you at one point or another, or for many reasons, and not always focus on the biggest faults, drinking, drugs, crimes of some sort. Of course, a crime of any sort will be quite obvious in being understood. If you're a murderer, you will know just there and then the fact of your crime creates someone to be killed. And that is very simple, because some things you do something like drinking, and the next day you don't know if you hit a policeman, or if you talk to a drug dealer, or if you talk with someone and you're not so sure you should have brought them around, or whatever. So these things are more disturbing, the things where you're not sure of what you did, or if you're sure, you may have been in some gullible state or whatever. It is more upsetting not being aware of where you're at when you do something and it comes back at you at a moment you don't expect it. But it is simpler to know what to do when things have been done and they are settled and they are finished. So murder, thievery, rape, all these things that are the worst things, they happen, they're done. But I wouldn't say to anyone that these things are good. They are not good. And I wish that a lot of people would feel remorse for their crimes. But everyone must do their own lives. And as they do, they reward themselves with their own answers and conclusions. So, absence diminishes commonplace passions and increases great ones, as the wind extinguishes candles and kindles fires. Duc de la Rochefoucaulds, 1613-1680. Maximus. Not Maximus Aurelius, of course. Duc de la Rochefoucaulds means that you could always feel the passion you had felt with certain others, maybe. This is what it means, maybe. And when absence takes place where the passion was, maybe, for a certain amount of time, however much that time is, we don't need to question that. Only in understanding a particular example do we need really take that to reference. That, for instance, when I was finished with my girlfriend, the absence created a drama within my mind, I believed that the drama made it seem that the passion had reached as large as a house at one moment, when it had only been as big as the person themselves after about a month and a bit. Wow, how frightening is that? What do human beings do? Well, Leos, I don't know if it's true of all Leos, it's almost like they're burning down a house with their own passion. So this is not a brilliant thing. But yet somehow, well, how wonderful can Leos be if they can create such passions, eh?